Whoa, the big man's in town.
How are we, Much? All right?
How you doing? Lovely to see you. Come on.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Someone didn't give me the memo. I had shorts on 2 minutes
Did
ago.
you? You look $1 million, mate. Seriously.
And they've all got that one common goal, winning and being the first person to take Tyson Fury's virginity. We'll just state this man here. How did he win the world title? I never know. Fighting an MMA fighter, and I'm the world heavyweight champion. And what happens if he beats me? Ridicule. It'd be like getting beat off Liverpool for United winning 7-0.
Exactly.
Like, how do you come back from that?
Tyson, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I know it's a busy run for you at the moment, and it's just great to be alongside a Man United fan, by the way.
Yes, for me sins.
You know what? It's mad because when I retired from playing football, I tried to be a boxer for a little while.
I remember.
Yeah, and it didn't go the way I wanted it to go.
But do you know what I can't understand? Yeah. Back in the day, they wouldn't give you a licence, but they've seen the people they're licensing today.
That was exactly
shocking.
That was exactly what I said. How are you giving him who looked like they've just been in the pub for 3-4 months?
Exactly.
Not done one bit of fitness, and I'm fit as a fiddle.
Exactly, ripped, ready to rock and roll.
Now we'll talk about the fight. Ngannou, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
2 different disciplines.
Yeah. Worlds meet, collide.
What different worlds are colliding here? What is the threat with this guy?
The threat is he's about 6'5" or 6 inches tall. He's about 278 pounds, about 18, 19 stone in weight. Dynamite puncher in both hands. He's recorded in the Guinness Book of Records as the hardest puncher to ever punch anything. So there's that risk. And also the biggest risk of all is fighting an MMA fighter. Yeah. And I'm the world heavyweight champion. And what happens if he beats me? Ridiculed. It'd be like getting beat off Liverpool for United winning 7-0.
Exactly.
Like, how do you come back from that?
Is it good to have that little fear and that little risk element?
Yeah, you know, all of these opponents that I face, they're all risky fights. They're all big men. Like anyone over like 14 stone's a big man, and all these guys are big lumps. And when I'm fighting them, the risk's always the same. They've always got a puncher's chance, but I never leave a stone unturned. That's one thing I do. I always prepare. I do everything I can in my power to be successful. And also, a way I look at it is, if this guy's going to beat me, then fair play to him. I'll shake his hand. He must be a good fighter. Because I'm no easy man to beat, as I've proven over the years. Yeah. So if I bump into someone who can beat me, I say, you know what, mate? Fantastic. Fair play to you. Well done. Take him for a beer. And that's it.
But you know, what's the big thing for me about this? Because you see these exhibition fights, and some of them get ridiculed here and there, but your belts are on the line here.
If he beats me, he becomes the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. And that's the man who beat the man, going back to when Queensberry rules first started in the 1800s.
Wow. Do you approach this type of fighter, an MMA background, different to a boxer who's grown up as a boxer?
No, not really, because they're all men and they're all trying to beat me up and punch me face in type of thing. So the threat's always the same, and they've all got that one common goal in their mind, is winning and being the first person to take Tyson Fury's virginity.
Yeah, I love this. These one-liners, I love them. Do you know what? I'm really interested in like your mentality, right, and your mindset, because you've got to be a strong person to do that. But I want to take it back. Did you always know that you were going to be a boxer? I mean, I've heard your dad say like you were a 1 pound baby, and you named you Tyson because he thought you'd be a fighter. Was you one of the kids who was always fighting on around your family and your friends and stuff like that?
Nah. For me, I wasn't always fighting. I didn't like violence. I still don't like violence. But boxing's like an art. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I always wanted to be heavyweight champion. Some little kids want to be like policemen, firemen, astronauts, whatever they want to be. Footballer. I wanted to be world heavyweight champion from a little kid. Always believed in it. Followed the dream. When everyone said, "Oh, he can't do it. He's a big fat white kid. Heavyweight champion, behave yourself. He ain't no Muhammad Ali, he ain't no Mike Tyson." He's a chubby kid from Manchester. Like, there hasn't been anybody like this before. Nobody. You can't do it. You're too tall, you're lanky, you're clumsy, you can't punch, you got no chin, you're fat.
With all those things that you're highlighting against you, then how do you dream of that then? What makes you dream of that?
All that negativity is like putting petrol on an open flame.
Fuel.
It fueled me. When everyone said I couldn't do something, I always wanted to prove everybody wrong, and the naysayers didn't stop, and they're still not stopping today. After everything I've done, 2-time world champion, undefeated in 15 years, and done everything there is to do in boxing game, they're still like, oh, he's still fat and he still can't beat this person and that person. And like the great Roman general said, there'll always be somebody else to fight.
As a sportsman, do you feel you need that though? That
I feel you need
doubt.
it, but I also feel like what separates like champions from greats is the mentality. Like I'm never happy with where I am in my life. I'm never happy with winning the world title or doing a trilogy, or I'm not happy with goals. Like I hit a target, but I'm always looking for better, and never makes me fulfilled. Like whatever I've done, at the beginning it was like amateur boxing, I wanted to be ABA champion, like senior ABA champion, that is unbelievable. And when I did it was like, no, this is not what I want. I'm a British champion, that ain't good enough. I want to be world champion, that's not good enough. I want to lose it all and come back again, that ain't good enough.
obsessed.
So I'm obsessed with chasing greatness.
The Klitschko fight here.
Yep.
This is a huge moment for
That's
you.
me
He's 11
dancing.
years unbeaten, the man.
Yeah.
And you're coming in there. The biggest thing for me, regardless of the result, was you came into the press conference in a Batman outfit. Now I'm thinking mindset, mentality here. I'm going into a Champions League final, one of the biggest nights of my life.
Yeah.
Press conference before that with Alex Ferguson. I'm focused, I'm serious. There's no way I am messing about at all. When you've gone in a Batman outfit with your friend as a Joker in the front row.
Yeah.
Talk to me through why and your mindset in that moment.
I'll tell you what it is. It's my mentality is like it's never serious. Like even in the backstage before the fight, it's never like, oh my God, I'm going to go fight Wilder or I'm going to go fight somebody or whatever. It's more like, it's a game. I'm going to go enjoy this. And I've always got the best out of myself because I never took it serious. Yeah. That's one key. And two, it's just like, well, like I said before, I train hard and I do everything right. And if somebody can beat me, then fair play. But I'm going to be a tough man to beat, no matter who you are, what you are. And I know my own ability. I was beating up British champions at 15 years old.
Did you think there was no way you could lose that fight?
No way. Oh, even though he'd not been beaten 11 years and 24 title defences, I knew he couldn't beat me and he knew he couldn't beat me. The mentality of me is like, I'm going to let this useless tosser beat me in front of the world. Not possible.
When the referee said, like, right, Tyson Fury, heavyweight champion of the world, just take me back to those feelings. What goes through your mind at that moment? At
that moment, I had accomplished all my dreams, childhood dreams. It's quite an astronomical feeling, but I remember being in the ring and after they announced me, I was like, is that it now? This is it. Is this what I've done? I'm heavyweight champion of the world. What next? Is that it? How much further can you go? Just beat this guy who everyone says was this big legendary boxer. Made it look easy as well. Never landed a glove on me in 12 rounds.
Didn't get near you.
And I thought, is that it? This is what I worked all my life for. And by the time I got to the press conference, I was already depressed because I thought, like, I've wasted my life with this, thinking this was going to be the be-all and end-all of everything. And when I finally had everything I'd ever dreamed of, it wasn't what I wanted, it wasn't what I expected. So it was a horrible time for me, and I never want to ever experience that again. And I spoke to Robbie Williams about it actually, and he called it paradise syndrome. And it's where you achieve all your dreams and all your eggs in one basket, you're an all or nothing character, and everything you've ever wanted is, you've got it now. You're like, well, this is everything I've wanted, and what next? And there is nothing next, that's it, that's the pinnacle of it all. What's the point in continuing?
Is that why you took the 2 years out? Because you had a rematch clause, didn't you?
I had a rematch clause. I wasn't even interested. I was off every night taking drugs and drinking. I didn't care about boxing. I'd done it. I'd achieved everything I ever wanted. I was struggling very, very mentally, very unwell at the time. I don't even want to live anymore, never mind boxing. So there was a lot of tough times, suicidal attempts. Look at that.
You spoke so openly about your mental health at this stage, and these pictures, all of these pictures I see here, you're smiling, you look happy. On the face of it, I'm thinking, he looks like a happy fella.
But I wasn't. At 28 stone, alcoholic drug addict, you're never happy. Look at the state of this man here. How did he win the world title? I never know.
I used to see these pictures and think, he's not coming back. There's no way back. But then you're training like this, and it takes me back to when I played pre-season. We'd just have 3-4 weeks off. And the mindset to go into a training camp pre-season and put yourself through it, everyone thinks it's so hard. But the level you got to in terms of your weight, drugs,
10
drink,
stone overweight.
10 stone, carrying a human around on your back more or less.
It was difficult. To do it in the first place to yourself and then come back from it, it's even more difficult. But losing weight's never been a hard problem for me. I've always been fat and I've always lost weight on and off. But the problem of it all is not even the ring inactivity, the 3 years out of the ring. The problem I was in was I was completely mentally gone. Like hearing voices in my mind, thinking about killing myself every 2 minutes, like not wanting to live anymore. Like I didn't have any wants anymore. Like you could have given me this room full of diamonds and gold bars or whatever, and it didn't mean anything to me. When you lose the passion to want to live anymore, then you're pretty up, I'd say. And it took me a long time to want again. I got help, I got mental help with doctors and stuff, and I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, manic depressive, and many, many other things. But as soon as I got to grips with that, I was very unwell and I needed to get better. The sooner I did. But when it was unknown, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what my problem was. It was hard to like, are you unwell? No, you're not. You're all right. Like the angel and the demon on the shoulders.
Yeah.
You're good. No, you're not. You're ill. You're all right. No, you're not.
It's weird because I've had serious big things in my life, and I drew on my kids to kind of keep me focused on the right track.
Yeah.
Were your kids ever?
No, I think I was way beyond all that. When you don't care about nobody, nothing, wife, kids, nothing. At that time, I was 27 years old, was a multi-millionaire, I had everything. I was world champion, I had acclaim, I had achievements, I had everything that the world had to offer. At that time, I had everything. But that was the only time where I was more than happy just to die there and then. Wow. I was in a really bad state, and I've been up and down ever since, but never ever got back to that darkness again where I'd be praying to like not wake up in the morning and stuff.
Him in his eyes and I told him, I'm not Klitschko. You cannot get in my head.
I just spoke to Deontay and he says you're not in his head.
Well, I beg to differ because it clearly looks like I am.
Let's move on to the Wilder fight, the first one.
Yeah.
This is the start of the trilogy. 2 comeback fights before this. Some people were saying it's too early, too quick for you to go back in the ring with such a dangerous person. Someone who calls himself the most dangerous man on the planet. Were you trying to get in his head in this press conference? Because I remember you were on him the whole time.
Yeah. It's all, boxing's all mental. It's all mental, it's all in the mind. Like, you can only train so much. It's like taking a penalty, I suppose. How many penalties do you take at training?
Until you get in that moment.
And then you're in that moment, and the world's watching, you got millions of people watching, and it's a cup final or something. And they're like, the goal's gone from really big to like this big, and it's the same with boxing. It's like the more you talk to your opponent, the less likely he is to bring his A game to the ring.
Because his focus goes, maybe he might get too emotional.
Yeah, he might get too emotional. He might take it personal, and once I get him to take it personal, it's usually game over.
I mean, this fight was amazing, but your resurrection moment was an iconic moment. Are you Tyson Fury now without that moment, do you think?
Yeah, I'll always be Tyson Fury, regardless of boxing. Even if I wasn't a boxer, just say I was a porn star, for instance, and I'd still be Tyson Fury.
But I mean the superstar. Because I mean that was a moment where
that was one of them moments.
Sporting lovers was going to remember that moment.
Yeah, it was one of them moments. But
look at the confidence. You think you're out of there?
I thought I was out there. I didn't know what had happened to me.
What is going through your mind right here?
Nothing. I was out cold. I opened my eyes and I saw a referee going 4 or 5 of been knocked down here, and that was it. But I didn't want to rush up because I didn't know where my legs were going to be. Just been chinned properly, and if you jump up and then you end up falling over again, it gets stopped. So I took every bit of time, and the referee told us in the changing room, he said, I believe in counting a champion out. So he said, if one of you goes down, I'll count to 10. If you're not up, you're out. And I got up and I was bulletproof that night. It wasn't my time to lose, and I had a bigger plan. There was a bigger plan for me, and obviously what's gone on since then has it's been the proof in the pudding. So I always thought if Wilder was ever going to be able to beat me, it'd have been that night. I'd had 3 years out the ring, I'd lost 10 stone in weight, battled so many mental demons, and then to come back after like 6 months of training to fight Deontay Wilder again. It was great, and other than the 2 rounds he knocked me down, round 9 and round 12, I won every round in the fight, so it was what it was.
The decision is a draw.
When they declared this a draw, it looks like huge disappointment. I mean, we never play as footballers for a draw. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel when you see the draw announced?
Yeah. It was. I'm disappointed in that, but I'm a big believer in like what's meant to be will be. Like I can only do what a man can do: eat, sleep, train, repeat. That's it to my best ability. But if it's written in the stars and it's God's will, then I'll win. And if it's not, then I'll lose. So I suppose that's probably where I get my mental strength from.
And you go to Wilder 2.
Yeah.
I mean, just talk to me as well through. We're going to see you coming on your throne here.
Yeah.
When do you decide about your ring entrance and what you're going to do? Because this was like crazy, wasn't it?
This was an iconic ring walk, yeah.
He blamed his ring walk, his outfit, didn't he, for this?
Yeah, he did. I suppose I had all these ring walks and things planned from being a little kid. My brother Shane over there, we used to draw me boxing kits when I was going to be world champion and ring walks and stuff, and designed it all when I was a child in the kitchen.
And you've lived them out?
And I've lived them out, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so a long time before all these things, they were all planned.
What changed you? I mean, you changed your trainer for this fight. Your style was changed a little bit. What made you do that? And because you went into this, you absolutely battered this guy.
Yeah. It was more like the first time we fought. Like I said, I was out the ring for years, and if ever we was going to do it, it'd have been that then. Like after this fight, I'd had 2 more fights in between, and I was match fit again. Don't forget, like the time I was out in 3 years, Wilder had like 8 or 9 title defences, which is activity compared to mine, none.
Yeah.
And I knew that. I knew he couldn't beat me. If I'm fit and training and I've been active, then they can't beat me. The only thing that can beat me is age, or inactivity, or injuries. That's it.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room.
Look at the eyes on that man.
I'm not going into war with that guy.
You look at that, yeah, that's a crazy man.
Yeah, I'm not going into war
He's
with
got that crazy look in his eyes. Barring knocking me out, I'm coming and I'm taking whatever you've got. It's mine.
This was an unbelievable fight. I think there was 5 knockdowns in this fight.
Yeah, I knocked him down 3 times. Put me down twice in the 4th round. Could have been curtains.
I was just like, wow, this is like crazy.
Good fight.
Unbelievable.
I remember
fight.
the second knockdown in this fight. My brothers and that, they was like all white in the face, like seen a ghost, and they thought it was over. Their hands were in the hair, a lot.
Are you looking at how much? That really interests me. That when I played football, my biggest thing was not looking at the crowd, not noticing what's being sung, not taking anything out.
Yeah, I always look ringside to see my wife there, and my brothers and that, and I always look like, and they're like, seeing a ghost, like something's going to happen bad, and I'm like, it's not over yet. I ain't done yet, boys, not yet. Come back with this, bang, bang.
Yeah. Good night. Go to sleep.
Well, fair play to Deontay. He has got the heart of a lion, and no matter what he says about me or what we say about each other, you have to admire someone who you fought 3 times, and whether I had all shoes in me gloves or he had his suit on too heavy, I respect the fact that we've had the trilogy and we've knocked lumps out of each other and probably not years of each other's lives, but the fact that he lost, he can't believe he's lost, and he's like, it's always got to be a reason. There were so many excuses. You just couldn't think of so many excuses why somebody lost. And I think it's just stupidness, really.
94,000 people, a record crowd for a boxing match in Europe. Tonight it's Wembley's night, it's Dillian White's night, and it's Tyson Fury's night.
I actually came to this fight at Wembley. I respected you, I admired you as a sportsman and as a champion, but this is when I left the stadium and was telling my friends, I've not seen anything like this live.
That was a show, wasn't it? 94,000 people at Wembley, we rocked it that night.
Everything about it, and you kind of toyed with him with all due respect. I thought you was just another level, and you know what was the thing that got me? Your footwork.
Yeah.
For such a big man, you move your feet. Is that taught in the ring IQ, or is it just you got it natural?
Like a natural thing, yeah. Because if you look at it, someone so big and heavy, they shouldn't be able to move like I do. I defy every law of gravity.
Yeah.
It's not even fair, is it, that I can be able to move like that?
No, it's illegal, really.
If I had hair and I wasn't fat, that would be illegal, wouldn't it? But you say you can't have it all, so no. I had to be bald and fat, didn't I?
Is that your favourite event?
Yeah, one of them.
Because it's Wembley.
Sure. Wembley, I always wanted to do a big fight at Wembley, and that was the opportunity. He was a British opponent, he was mandatory for like 167 years. He finally got his shot and I chinned him.
Do you know what? I mean, before the fights, you have a bit of banter. You get into people. You try and intimidate them in the press conference and lead up. It's great. But one thing I do love about you is that because you treat it when men shake hands and respect.
that's it. That's how it should be, really. if you beat somebody or if they beat you, then fair play. It's just like, well, it's not a gang warfare. It's not two criminals.
Yeah.
We're both sports people. It's like a fair fight, you know what I mean? So if the man beats me, then fair play to him. He must be good at his job. That's the way I look at it.
Tyson Fury's just landed another solid right hand, and somehow it bounces off the chin of Derek Chisora. Can't believe he's taking the shots that he's taking in there. And Victor Lachlan says that's enough. It's not before time.
Chisora, that's your last fight. How have you been with the fighting?
I've been doing a lot of stuff since December last year. Obviously, I've not fought. It's been 9 months now since I fought last. But I've been busy. I've got a lot of kids. I've got 2 dogs. I've got a nagging wife.
I've watched the documentary. It's brilliant, by the way.
It's hard work. I've been on tour a couple of times. I've done a lot of stuff. Been on a few holidays and that. So it's been good, but I was really, really ready to get back into camp. And a lot of people don't look forward to training camp, but I class it as like a spa break. Getting away from all the screaming and shouting and all the hectic stuff that goes on in my house. So now I've got my trainers over and my nutritionists and all that stuff, and I get to be looked after like a champion racehorse.
But listen, Tyson, everyone wants to know. You get through Ngannou.
Yeah. What's next?
What's next? I mean, because when I play that, you want to play against the best in your area. You want to pit your wits against the best. And if you retire and you don't fight the best or people who are considered the best challengers to your title, would you consider that maybe a blemish when you've retired, or is that?
I don't think it's even a conversation when you're retired, because who really cares? It's like, you've done what you got to do, you've made your money, you've done what you've had your career. Forget about it. Move on to somebody else. You know what I mean? Give somebody else a little turn.
Because the fans want this fight, don't they? The fans want it.
Yeah.
Do you want to give it to them?
The fans want it. But listen, if the money's there, we'll do it. Why in the world would I want to fight him for no money? He's got zero personality. He's ugly, gappy teeth, and he's half the size of me. So it's all to gain for him and nothing to gain for me, is it?
I think
if I beat him, it's like, oh well, he beat middleweight. If he beats me, beat a legendary Tyson Fury.
Is there more for
no
him
money?
to win? More for him to win than you?
Not just that. You know, he was offered the fight at Wembley in April. A lot of money, and they didn't take it. They ran away. They're looking for more money, so it is what it is. I understand everyone wants the most money possible. I do. This is prize fighting. We all want the biggest bag. And no matter what people say, it's about the belts. It's about me record, me legacy. No. It's all about getting paid and getting laid. Yeah? And that's it.
So you're not bothered about fighting even AJ even as well?
AJ's been beat now. I was interested when he was a virgin. It was a test. We want big fights, this, that and the other, but who are you? You don't have any belts anymore. You don't have anything to give. So I'm interested in doing the biggest fights, the most money, most glamour, everything. That's why I'm going to Saudi to fight Francis Ngannou. Not only for the biggest bag ever, yeah, also 2 worlds collide. Millions of people around the world are going to watch it. Like, if you put Alexander Usyk in Morecambe, in a leisure centre, he wouldn't sell it out.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I beat Ed Sheeran at Wembley. And Adele. By the way, Adele's number 2 and Ed Sheeran's number 3, with the Gypsy King on top of the pile, 94,000.
Wow.
Yeah?
What? Listen.
So you know what I mean? And then I offer him 30% of a large bag, and they say no, they want more. On what merit do you deserve more?
Yeah, you're box office, man.
Yeah. I'm a superstar, you're a nobody.
Come on! Up the top man!
Do you know what? You can't finish on a better way than that.
Yeah.
Box office
But
superstar.
if the fight does come, no problem, knock him out. And if I don't,
I ain't going to argue with you.
If I don't, then you can all say, I told you so.
No, I'll be backing you, don't worry about
Good
that.
man, get your money on the Gypsy King.